Bonjour, c'est Claire at French in the Midlands. This is an updated video on the previous one. The previous one was made in October 2021. There's been an update since, and I've also added something I forgot in my previous video, so this is very important, and it concerns mainly the vaccinated passengers. Now, before we go any further, I just want to remind you that you can claim your free ebook, The 12 Golden Rules of French, at the link in the description. It's a short ebook that's packed with tips and tricks on how to sound like a native French speaker. Now, if you are fully vaccinated, it's not too bad. You will need your certificate of vaccination. You will need to book a day 2 PCR or antigen test. This is a new thing because before that, before the 24th of October, it was only a PCR test. Now you're allowed to book an antigen test to take on day 2 of your return. And of course, the day you arrive in the UK is day 0. This is a test you need to book before your trip, as you need the test number to fill in the passenger locator form and to validate it. Then you need to fill in the passenger locator form on the UK government website. The link is in the description, 48 hours before your trip. So you have to have booked your day 2 test before you can even fill in the passenger locator form. Basically, what I did was I booked my return test about 2 weeks before I traveled out of the UK. So I got it, received it, left it on the shelf and used it on my return. Now, you are only considered fully vaccinated 14 days after your second dose, so be aware. Now, if you're not fully vaccinated, it's a little bit more complicated. You will need more documents. You'll need to show, first of all, a negative PCR or antigen test taken up to 3 days before your trip. This can be self-administered just in case, you're not sure. You will need to show your passenger locator form duly filled in. I'll give you a download link in the description. You will need to quarantine for 10 days. And quarantine is really strict. You're not allowed to go shopping, you're not allowed to leave your house for any reasons other than if you have no one who can give you a hand or you need to get medical advice. The NHS will ring you up randomly during the 10 days to check you're actually complying with the rules. You need to take a PCR test on day 2 and 8 of quarantine. Bear in mind travel day is day 0. Now, those tests need to be booked before you fly back to the UK because you've got to show the border control officers that the test booking numbers, and that's got to appear on your passenger locator form as well. So unless you've booked your tests, you can't fill in your passenger locator form, you see, so you have to have it planned beforehand. Now, if you're not a UK resident, and only if you're not, you'll need to show your certificate to leave metropolitan France. Again, you need to show a compelling reason to go to the UK. And of course, that doesn't apply if you're a UK resident. I'll put the link in the description as well, just in case you need that. Bear in mind, you can also book an extra PCR test for day 5, and that's entirely optional, only if you want. It's called test to release, and it allows you to end your quarantine after 5 days if it comes back negative. You will still need to take the day 2 and 8 tests on top. So bear in mind, it's just the cost will mount up. If you're traveling with children, these are the current rules. All under 18s who are resident in the UK or in a country with an approved proof of vaccination are exempt from quarantine on arrival in the UK, and this is whether they're vaccinated or not. If they are under 4, they do not have to take any COVID travel tests. If they are 5 to 17-year-old, they do not have to take a test before travelling to England. They don't need the day 8 test either, but they have to take either a PCR or an antigen test on or before day 2 after arrival. Now, if you ever wonder where to book your tests, I've got a few suggestions. For your fit to fly to the UK, of course, if you're in France, you can turn up at your local pharmacy or even use the Doctolib app if you don't fancy queuing up, because with an appointment, then it's a set time, you don't have to queue. You can book a test at a lab. But even easier, you can actually take a self-test kit with you to France to then test yourself before you fly back. For instance, you can use the C19 test kit, and I'll give you a link in the description to do that. It's probably the easiest way of doing it. The results come back really quickly within 2-3 hours. Now for you day 2 and 8 PCR tests, you can actually order, which is called a day 2 and 8 self-test kit from Nationwide Pathology. You will usually receive the results within 1 or 2 days, and I'll give you a link in the description. This is quite important because nowadays a lot of providers don't even bother sending you your results, and people struggle to get their money back. So you need to find a reliable one, and this is one I know of who is very reliable. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. À bientôt!